What's going on, Metropolitans? Welcome to one of the most stressful weeks of the regular season. After getting washed out in Atlanta, the Mets hit up a gauntlet through Milwaukee with potentially a doubleheader on the last day of the season to settle it all. Three teams, two wildcard spots. We're breaking it all down on this edition of Mets Digest. What is going on, everybody? My name is Flobo Boyce, and I'm one half of the Mets Digest team. Myself, alongside Mike D'Angelo, we're working tirelessly to bring in the news and notes that's set for Mets fans, and I appreciate you personally because there's so many places on the interwebs you can do to find Mets content, but you're rocking with us, you're rocking with me, and that means the world as you build this channel up. We just started this summer. So if you're watching this right now and you're liking what we're putting down, make sure you hit up that subscribe button. Click that subscribe button so you can know you're in the know for new content when it drops. Okay, let's get into this one. So as I record this, it's Friday afternoon. The Mets are already in Milwaukee. Lineups have already been posted. We're about an hour or so away from first pitch. And it is a series, not saying that it wouldn't have come to this, but because the last two games of the Atlanta Braves series was postponed due to Hurricane Helene, and we'll get to that in quite a second. The Mets are pretty much struggling for their lives, and well, you could talk about what it means to be here in the first place. People thought the team weren't going to make it after May. I had my doubts in the end of May, but do you know what? I looked up to Grimace and Iglesias, and my whole world just changed. And I love to say that I never wavered. I never said, no, it's always next year if you could take it now. But they, as always, are playing on hard mode. Well, let me know what you feel about the Mets situation right now, and let me know all weekend as this series rolls on. But just a little bit of a background information. The Mets and Diamondbacks are currently tied for the second and third wild card spot, while the Braves are one game behind. We lost that first game in Atlanta, and we have a potential doubleheader to make up those final two games that was postponed due to Hurricane Helene. Now, I understand the storm is very serious. As of this recording, almost 3 dozen people have lost their lives, and our hearts go out to them here at Mets Digest. But it really was a situation that could have been even more dangerous to both teams, being able or allowing the teams to fly in, knowing full well the storm was going to happen days in advance. I'm just glad everyone's safe. That said, two games which could have been played earlier, two games that could have been played on different days or even double header the day before didn't get to happen. And now you have to schedule that after the end of the regular season, if that would be the case. And what I mean by that is, well, Atlanta's facing Kansas City and we're facing Milwaukee. What it comes down to it is a lot of math involved to see whether or not we get in, and the Braves do not. And if they're still not settled by Saturday, then or Sunday, then it will be a doubleheader. But sometimes people are saying, the rumors are swirling right now, that if things are settled by the weekend, would the doubleheader even be necessary? And I really want to drill on that part down because, frankly, I am tired of doing math equations about if this team wins and that team wins and in 45 games. I've tried it. My brain is broken. You can find all the matrices at The Athletic, at SMY TV, on your favorite Mets platform. But there's something about this I want to bring attention to you. It's the ripple effect of one thing leading to another. In fact, you can argue the parity of the National League, having so many teams in contention for so long, and having this event, Hurricane Helene, and delay, has led a cascading effect that's going to ripple to almost every other team in the league. And I explain with this. One first comes from Ken Rosenthal at The Athletic, which, again, I sing my praises with The Athletic. It's actually one of my first stops to check out new content because they do check their sources. He goes on to say this: if the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves need to play a doubleheader on Monday, it forces both clubs to play 8 games in 7 days, and that taxes a roster. If Rob Manfred exercises his discretion to cancel it entirely, the Mets and Braves will end up playing 160 games rather than 162 required of every other club, which hardly seems fair to the Brewers and Padres, both of whom are on the verge of earning home field advantage for the best of 3 wildcard round. Two things to put there when you think about it and drill it down. One, 160 games over 162. If, let's say, that happens and the Mets or Braves play 160 games and they go on to win it all, do we add an asterisk to things? Will that change anything? Or on the flip side, if you're the Brewers and the Padres, you get that first round bye, which you won't because you got the division leaders. But let's say that happens in a situation where you're a team and you have a first round bye, and we talk about how it's a disadvantage for a first round bye. Is that considered fair to them as well? But the most important thing when you drill down this situation, the doubleheader on Monday, is that it's occurring after the end of the regular season on a day that's off for anyone else. So let's say the Mets or the Braves have the doubleheader on that Monday, and we have a winner on that day. They have one less day of rest. And so it looks like you pretty much have to play chess all like now to make that work. And I don't think that's fair across the board, but what you're going to do, you're pretty much out of time. So one of the things people are kind of asking about that is, what are the Mets to do? What are the options for the situation? The thing is just, you can try to spell some guys to have a little bit of a roster just in case you go to Monday, or do you put all full throttle balls to the wall to make sure you just win and win as many as you can? And if there's one team that has gone on multiple 7-game winning streaks, that is the New York Mets. In fact, it's 2 or 3, judging by how you count those. And not to mention, the Grimace vibe factor is there. If you have Grimace throw a first pitch, if you have him install a chair, or if you have him just break dance in a social media video, that may be the rub we need. MLB.com tries to simplify what the Mets need to do to get in. There are literally about 12 different scenarios at play, 1,500 different possibilities about who of the 2 teams qualify of the 3 when it comes to this wild card. So MLB.com says the Mets enter Friday's game in a virtual tie with the Diamondbacks. Both of them are 1 game up on the Braves, the final 2 National League wildcard spots. We just discussed that a minute ago. Any combination of 4 New York Mets wins or Arizona losses over the weekend will clinch the Mets a playoff spot because they hold a regular season tiebreaker over the D-backs and the Padres after going 4-3 in the season series. As such, it can clinch as early as Saturday, but they have to keep going. So that puts us Mets fans in a bind. We got to root for our boys, of course, but we're also kind of rooting for the Royals. We're also kind of rooting for the Padres, which if you live through the 2022 season and Joe Musgrove, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to leave it at that. It put us in an odd position to have them beat the Diamondbacks down. I don't know. There are a lot of people out there that are kind of being all doom and gloom. We get swept. It's over for us. We have hope in the team, blah, 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 blah. But I will tell you one thing everyone wrote off this year. We're kind of playing with house money. I'm not trying to make light of the situation, but I do hope we had that looseness that we did back in June and July, where we just kind of say, hey, look, we're going to go out there, prove the world wrong, and just do our thing, because we have every opportunity to really put ourselves in that playoff picture, and it'll be something to be well-earned and well-deserved. That said, it is not going to be easy, but what a way going through Milwaukee. In fact, if you think about the first time we met Milwaukee in the beginning of the year, we were in a different mental state. That was a Reese Hoskin game. We was doing the whole boo-hooing because he couldn't do it in Jeff McNeil's face. He had to go back to dugout like a little kid. It was kind of odd, and we looked kind of mentally weak, but we are a different team, so it'd be even sweeter if we were going to flatten Milwaukee. But I got to say, rooting for the Padres this week doesn't make me feel that great. I don't mind rooting for the Royals. Bobby Witt's pretty cool. But it really is out of our hands, which is such a shame, because had we won the 2 other games in Atlanta from the series, it would have come to that. That said, we have 2 lineup aspects we want to watch. Is the return of Francisco Lindor. He's been out for 9 games straight with that lower back injury. It looks like he's going to play through pain at the end of the season. He's going to be back playing in the field as well. He was teased in the lineup for Wednesday's game before it was canceled, so we kind of see how the extra 2 days have done him well. It will take time to put him back into rhythm, but he is batting laid off as of this reporting. And also, dare I say, closest thing we have to an ace on the staff, Sean Manaea, has proven time and time again to be the guy who gets the ball in high leverage situations, and ain't no leverage higher than this week. Sean Manaea has just basically had a creative renaissance here in Queens this season, and as we said on other videos here at Mets Digest, is more than willing and more than able to opt out of his player option to get that bag, and so far it'll be rightfully deserved. I will say this: there are times throughout the year where I would flip-flop on who I would trust, right, with the ball. Sometimes I was like, Sevy was hot, or Sevy was struggled. Quintana had his own struggles this summer, but we talk about consistency. agency. Maybe the first half of the return of David Peterson. Maybe the last couple games of Tyler McGill in that rotation spot. But it really has been Sean Manaea being able to be the reset on the mound so far. We need it. Hope I don't jinx it. I'm kind of glad that we have a fighting chance against the Braves. Now, I know there are probabilities and odds, but I am going to keep myself as unmathematic as possible. Just win, baby. Do it for Max Wiener and Seymour Wiener and Glizzy Iggy and Steve Cohen and Doc Gooden and Darryl Strawberry and hopefully someone to retire next year and David Wright. Just do it for the spirit of our athletic ancestors. And even though it really was a situation that could have been avoided, that Atlanta series being delayed, let the world know we're not going to go away quietly because this is the best dang team on the planet. Ladies and gentlemen, you have reached the end of the video. Thank you so much for checking out Mets Digest, and let me know how you're feeling in the comments below this weekend. I'll be watching those games intently, or more likely having the games on, and I'm like squinting through my eyes like, because it's almost playoff season baseball, baby. This is the best thing we do. This is what we live for here. This could be our year. I'm going to think of it until it's not no longer the case, because as always, until next time, it's LGM to the bitter end.